I'm currently at the Gangseo Fisheries Wholesale Market in Seoul to find a fish so special that its price triples from fall to winter. The perfect time to eat this raw is strictly from mid-December to January. If you miss this window, you have to wait a whole year. This is large yellowtail. Hi everyone, welcome back to my Korean seasonal dish series. In this series, I introduce one food every month that locals go crazy for, but most tourists don't even know exists. Last December, we covered the fresh Kimjang kimchi and oyster combination. This month, January, is all about raw large yellowtail. Technically, you can find yellowtail at almost any seafood restaurant in Korea right now. But if you want the full local experience, I recommend you visit a fish market. There are a few major ones in Seoul. I'll put the map right here and drop the addresses below. Now speaking of yellowtail, there is an old Korean saying, even a stray dog wouldn't touch a summer yellowtail. Why? Because in the summer, these fish are lean and dry. But to survive the freezing winter ocean, they store a massive amount of energy in their belly. Their fat content is what gives it that unique, rich flavor. So if you are visiting Korea between mid-December and late January, this is your culinary treasure. Do not miss it. But here's one important thing that you need to know. Size matters. Yellowtail comes in different sizes and they taste completely different. The larger they are, the juicier they get. Yellowtail is usually classified into three sizes. Small, usually 3 kilograms and less. Medium, 3 to 7 kilograms. Large, over 7 kilograms. We're here for the large one today because that is where the flavor explodes. So if you decide to go out for raw yellowtail after this video, you can ask your restaurant or the fish market booth, how heavy is this specific fish? Just to be sure you're getting the right one. Because everyone looks for this specific large dish during the season, there's usually no fixed price tag. It runs on market price. To give you an idea for your budget, the price is usually around 50,000 won per kilogram. Small or medium yellowtail can be slightly cheaper. But keep in mind that price is based on the weight of the whole live fish out of the tank, not the final weight of the slices that end up on your plate. Today, I'm visiting with a party of 4. I'll give you a price breakdown for 4 people at the end of this video, so you know how much you're looking at for your own traveling party. As I mentioned, the winter fat is what makes large yellowtail so special. However, because it is so rich and buttery, it can get a little heavy if you eat too much of it. That's why the fishmonger gave me a pro tip. Mix the order. He recommended pairing the fatty yellowtail with a white flesh fish to balance the flavors. So I took his advice and added Red Seabream. And honestly, it was the perfect call. The contrast between the two fish was amazing. The yellowtail had this rich flavor and melting texture that you wouldn't usually expect from a fish, while the Red Seabream had a clean, sweet taste with a nice chewy bite. One of the best things about large yellowtail is that different cuts offer different textures. If you look closely, the fishmonger has separated the different parts, loin, belly, and special cuts, so we can experience the full range of flavors. Here's how the system works. You buy the fish at a booth on the first floor, and then you take it upstairs to the second floor to eat. This applies to most major fish markets in Korea. When you get upstairs, you pay a small table setting fee, usually about 5,000 won per person. That covers your seat, sauces, and side dishes. Now let's go see what it tastes like. We also picked up some fresh raw oysters to pair with the fish. By the way, everything else you see on this table, except the fish and oysters, is covered by the table setting fee. This is a unique system in Korean markets, and I'll give you the full price breakdown at the end of this video. The piece just melts away in your mouth, and that rich fat coats your tongue like premium butter. Now this is the yellowtail rib. Because large yellowtails are so big and fatty, they yield a rich, oily rib cut, which is a very rare part to find on a fish. It was a bit chewy compared to the belly, but in a good, satisfying way. And this is the cheek meat. As you can see, this part is more of red muscle than white fat. It tasted almost like raw beef, which, by the way, is another huge delicacy in winter Korean cuisine. I will make a proper video to introduce that dish some other day. Now typically, you might just use soy sauce and a bit of wasabi to give it a kick. But Koreans love eating this with chojang. It's a mixture of gochujang and vinegar. Spicy, sweet, and tangy. It cuts right through the heavy feeling from the fish. But the classic way to eat this is to build a stack, like a taco. First, start with a sheet of dried seaweed. Second, add a piece of baekgimchi, that's white kimchi. Third, add a dab of Ssamjang, seasoned soybean paste. And finally, top it with the yellowtail. Wrap it up, and that right there, that is the true taste of a Korean winner. One more thing before we leave this table. In Korea, there's a unique way to finish a meal after having raw fish. The fillets are sliced and enjoyed raw, but the leftover bones are never wasted. Instead, they're simmered down to make a hot spicy fish stew. This step is essential, especially after a fatty fish like this. The spicy broth cuts right through that rich, oily aftertaste and completely cleanses the palate. And honestly, it is not as spicy as it looks, so don't worry too much. Here's how you get it. When purchasing fish on the first floor, you need to tell the vendor you plan to eat 매운탕, or specifically as for 사다리, which means fish bones in Korean. Then they will pack the bones along with the fish. Let's break down today's bill. Like I said earlier, this is what I paid today for 4 people, so I hope this gives you an idea of what to expect. So how much was today's feast? Let's break it down. First, the fish market downstairs. For 1.3 kilos of Yellowtail and Seabream, we paid 120,000 won. We added fresh oysters, that was 800 grams, for 20,000 won, so the seafood total was 140,000. Next, the restaurant upstairs. The table fee was 7,000 instead of 5,000 I briefly mentioned earlier per person, because we took the private room, so 28,000 total. For the spicy stew, the kitchen fee was 16,000 to cook it up. The grand total? 184,000 won. That comes out to just 46,000 won per person. That's it for a January seasonal dish. If you're in Korea, go grab some yellowtail before February comes. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.